It is 6 o'clock in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, and you're listening to Eat, Play, Live with me, Andi P, the show that's chasing dreams and crushing goals. My goal here is to help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. That balanced life should be filled with experiences, not things, chances taken, dreams chased. We've got no idea what tomorrow brings, so let's live today to the very best of our ability. What does that look like to you? Thank you for joining me here today from Mason, Texas. Oh my goodness, if you tuned in last week on Facebook Live or via the airwaves, I did my broadcast live from the roof of a hotel in Mexico. I went down to Cozumel for a week to train for the half Ironman, in which I will compete in September. Oh my gosh, less than 3 months away. Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous. It's getting real now. After doing a week there on their turf, that's what the goal was. You know, when you set a goal, sometimes you have no idea what you're in for. So I thought it would be a good idea to go down there and find out what I'm really in for. So for those of you who don't know, a half Ironman consists of a 1.2-mile swim in the ocean, followed by a 56-mile bike ride, followed by a half marathon, which is 13.1 miles. So you do all that back to back, and the goal is to survive and make it to the finish line. But I mean, you know, I've played in the ocean, I've gone diving, I've gone snorkeling, but I've never purposely just swam in the ocean, like just swimming laps kind of thing. So that was a huge, huge part of this trip, was to find out, what is that going to be like? It sounds really scary, right? And actually, I was really pleased to discover that it wasn't that scary at all. Actually, it was really cool. And in Cozumel, of course, the water is very clear, so you're able to see. I could see little fishies down there. They were totally cheering me on, I'm sure. But I have this cool floaty that has a strap that goes around my waist, so boats can see that there's somebody there. And yeah, and you just do it. And you're more buoyant in salt water. So let's go with that. Let's say that's going to make it way easier, and it's not going to be a problem to swim that. So since coming back now, I'm swimming in lakes and rivers and pools and wherever I can find, because that's what I discovered is the area that I really need to work on. The hardest part is mastering your breath, you know, and you get excited and you get nervous, and then you're not breathing very well. And if you can master your breath, that is going to help in every category. So now I know, coming back, that that's where I really need to put some emphasis. The bicycling, not a huge problem. Cozumel is very flat, thankfully, and where I train here around the Mason, Fredericksburg, Llano, Brady kind of areas, as you know, if you live here, it is not flat at all. So yeah, I'm getting some good hill training. So I'm definitely able to go farther in Cozumel. But the other thing I discovered, I've been really on the fence over whether to take my bike down there, which kind of a pain to travel on a plane with a bicycle, or to borrow a friend's bike that's there. I think I'm going to take my bike. I'm just used to it, you know? And y'all know, if you've listened to my show, that I fall from time to time. I'm bad enough on my own bike. I certainly don't need to be breaking in somebody else's bike and not be comfortable. And like, the seat was just adjusted differently, so it hits different pressure points, and there are pains that you just don't want to go into a giant competition like that when you're not used to your bike. Okay, so in case anybody wants to do something like this, or any type of bike race, or any kind, you know, you got to know what you're getting into. And then the running, the biggest deal with the running down there is the heat and humidity, which heat, we don't have a problem training in heat in the summer in Texas, but the humidity is different. So just getting some runs in and getting used to what is going to be encountered there was pretty much, yeah, that was the goal. And, you know, there might have been a couple of margaritas that made their way into some of the activities. That's okay. Now it's time to get serious. I'm back. So I need you guys to hold me accountable, okay? If you see me out and about and I'm partaking in a beverage that's not water, feel free to call me out because I really, really want to be focused this next like 2.5 months before I go back down there and do this thing because this is a really big deal. So, yeah. So, being there, besides the training, there are just, it's my happy place. The waves, the ocean, oh my gosh, there were turtle nests, and you could see where the mama turtles had like made their way through the sand. Oh, they made me so happy. And it made up for the fact that when I went diving, I did not see any turtles, any sea turtles underwater. It was really sad, but seeing their nests totally made up for that. The food. Oh my goodness. We are going to transition into our eat segment tonight, talking about some of the things I learned about the food. Because, you think, okay, you're going to Mexico, it's going to be Mexican food. Come on, people. This is not Tex-Mex we're talking about here. This is real, actual, authentic. And it's different in Cozumel because it's made up so much more of seafood. So I want to go into our eat segment talking just a little bit about seafood. Do you eat a lot of seafood? It's fantastic in the summer and it's really good for you. So I want to highlight some of the things that are really good about seafood just to kind of get you thinking. When's the last time you had some fish or some shrimp that's not deep fried? Ooh, that made me like blow air into the microphone because I got really excited about, better. We're never talking about the fried version. Okay. So if I'm telling you to eat something and you go and you order it fried and you dip it in something that you're not supposed to, which shall remain nameless, stop. Just stop that. What we're talking about is fresh fish, fresh seafood that provides essential nutrients. The specifics, of course, are going to depend on what type of fish you're eating, but seafood is really well known for being a natural source of vitamins and minerals, B complex vitamins, vitamin D and B, and those B complex vitamins I mentioned perform so many different functions, okay? They can influence your energy production, your metabolism, your concentration, even beauty. Yeah, it's good for all that. Who knew, right? So some types of fish, such as salmon, are rich in vitamin A, which helps protect vision and boost the immune and reproductive system capabilities. Also, vitamin D, which is found in the fatty skin of the salmon. So you got to eat that little skin part. Also in tuna, you can find vitamin D, and that promotes healthy bone growth, calcium absorption, and boosts immune system efficiency as well as cell growth. How about that? So get your nutrients by getting that fish into your diet. It promotes heart health. It is low in saturated fats, high in protein. So good for you. Its greatest health benefit is in the abundant source of omega-3s. And you know this, we've talked about this before. Those omega-3 fatty acids. They are most notably beneficial for your heart health. Take care of your heart. In fact, they can significantly reduce the risk of cardiovascular events such as arrhythmias, strokes, heart attacks. Oh, we don't want any of that stuff. That is why we're trying to make these healthy changes in our lives. So go ahead, eat that salmon. And yes, you can take omega-3s in a capsule. You can, part of your vitamin regimen, but it's even better in real form. If you can get your vitamins through real food, that's always going to be a better way to do it. Okay, sometimes we can't get enough vitamins just through food, so you do have to supplement. Supplements are great, but know what you're taking. So back to seafood. It's good for your joints. Got to move those joints around, right? Eating seafood on a regular basis has been proven to ease the symptoms of arthritis, and research has shown that omega-3 fatty acids can ease tender joints and reduce morning stiffness. So even if you have rheumatoid arthritis, it will help with that. It can also help maintain your eyesight. Again, it's those omega-3s. Those puppies are good stuff, man. They can help against age-related macular degeneration and boost your night vision. So we can go out and play more at night. It's great for your skin. It helps preserve the moisture in your skin. Ooh, I like that. We need good moisture, because without moisture, then it starts getting wrinkly and not looking so pretty. So we want to preserve your skin's natural glow by eating more seafood. The omega-3s protect the skin against UV rays, and recent research has found limited findings suggesting that fish oil can reduce the prevalence of acne. So many benefits. Did you know about all of this? I mean, this is just amazing. And you'll remember, because seafood also boosts your brain power. It may even lower the risk of developing Alzheimer's, and recent research speculates that long-term consumption of omega-3 fatty acids can boost cognitive functioning in aging women. And I want to know what they mean exactly by aging women, because isn't everybody technically aging all the time? So yeah, let's clarify that, because I'm feeling a little bit insulted by the aging women term right there, but I'm just going to let that go right now, and I'm not going to get upset about it, because seafood helps fight depression. Yeah, recent research has found that, once again, those omega-3s not only decrease the risk of depression, but has the potential to treat it as well. So consuming more seafood can help you live a better, more positive life. All right, that's good. I hope you like seafood, because you're not as positive if you don't like it, but try it. Try it in lots of different ways, because I mean, you don't have to just, I don't, I don't cook, so I'm not going to give you any tips on how to prepare it. That one I'm going to leave up to you. I personally am a huge fan of ceviche. I make it at home. That one I do make at home, thanks to someone who actually taught me how to do it correctly. But mine is still nothing compared to what I was eating down there. There's just no way. I mean, I'm buying it at what, HEB or Walmart, like it's not the same as fresh. Never gonna be. But anyway, back to the benefits of seafood. Pregnancy benefits, for those of you who are considering going down that route. It can be good and have positive benefits on birth weight. It can enhance fetal growth and development, so that's good. Now, there are some types of seafood that you need to watch out for if you're pregnant, so be aware of those. Talk to your doctor about that, but know that that's not everything. Not all fish are bad for you because you're pregnant. A lot of them are really good. It can improve your immune function. It can reduce the symptoms of asthma and certain allergies. Are you thinking about having some fish right now? And there's so many choices. Like I was saying, mix and match. Some of the ones that I was eating, I mean, my favorites in Cozumel are conch or octopus, which I don't get a lot of that in Mason, Texas. So here it's more like shrimp and just, I don't know, whatever kind of fish I can find that isn't outrageously expensive, because sometimes, some of them get a little pricey, but you can find a way to get some of those mixed in your diet, or go fishing. There's people around here that fish. I know there's people that do stuff like that. So that would be a fun way to get outside and play. That's our next segment. Let's talk about playing. Do you know obstacles are put in your way to see if what you want is really worth fighting for? That's why they're there. What are you gonna do about it when you come up against those obstacles? How do you overcome the challenges when you want to get out and play? I mean, right now, one of the biggest challenges is the heat. It's hard to deal with the fact that it's so stinking hot outside all the time. Like, even when you wake up, there's a little tiny window. I have to admit, I've been trying to get up earlier, because it's a lot easier to run or ride my bike when it's not quite so hot. But early mornings are not my fave. I gotta admit. So then how are you going to deal with it? Well, one thing that I did this week, I did not get up early enough to go run before it got stupid hot. So I went to the gym and ran on the treadmill where it's air conditioned. Okay, may not be as fun as running outside, but it's flatter. I'll tell you that, not having to deal with so many hills. And you've got the air conditioning, and you can wear your headphones, and you can wave at your friends when they walk by, which there were a bunch of them at the gym. Shout out to my friends getting in there and taking care of business. But so there are ways to get over the obstacles like heat. Another thing you can do is hit the pool. The swimming pool, or like I said, lakes and rivers. I found a nice little spot where you can swim over in the Llano River. There are tons in this area where you can go and get those laps in or just swim as far as you can go. And don't go too far. Make sure you can come back again. But you don't have to be limited by things like heat, or maybe you're sore or you have some sort of injury that prevents you from doing some of the activities you want to do. Well, swimming is a good way to overcome that. Now, what about rain? Isn't it crazy that rain has actually been an issue for us here in July? Like, does that ever happen? Well, yeah, it's happened a lot this week, and it happened to me last week in Cozumel as well. It just rained like every single day. So what do you do when it's raining and you can't get out and get on your bike? Well, you can, in my case, I have a Peloton bike at home, so I ride that. That's a good way to get around it. And if you don't have one in your house, go to the gym. They have tons of them. I've been to several of the gyms in this area, and they all have at least one that you can hop on and do your ride there, or whatever kind of workout you want to do instead. And if you don't want to go anywhere, what about yoga? You know, you can do yoga to YouTube. Go to YouTube and just type in yoga classes, and there are free yoga classes on YouTube that are actually quite good, and you can do it right there in your living room. So no excuses. I'm not letting you get away with telling me that you have obstacles like heat or rain, or the pool's not open right now, or whatever it is. I'm not letting you get away with that. That is just not going to be okay, because there's always a way to work around it or work through it. So yesterday I went on this bike ride, and I started out on the highway, and it was starting to get a little dicey. The highway was getting a little more crowded, and at first there were 2 lanes or 4 lanes, and then it went down to 2 lanes. And so now cars are getting a little closer to me than I really am comfortable with. So I saw a turn, a dirt road. Well, it was a gravel road that I could turn on. And okay, looked like a pretty good road. And I checked the map really quick. Yes, okay, it does go through to another road. It's not going to just dead end. But what it did do is turn into dirt, and like not a lot of traffic clearly has been on this road, because there were a lot of obstacles like cow patties and things that I wasn't expecting to have to deal with. Also some mud puddles and things from the recent rains, and hills and rocks. And it was just getting very out in the middle of nowhere. And where is this road going? I have no idea. Wow. Okay. How did I get down this road? And you know me, my mind starts wandering and tying this into life. How did I get on this road? Why am I here? Where is it going? So this is what happens to me when I bicycle, especially because it tends to be long distances and I'm out there, and my mind just starts kind of wandering. But it really did feel like a good reminder of, sometimes we take a turn, maybe planned or not so planned, off the road that we were planning to be on, and that road doesn't go where we were expecting, and the terrain isn't what we were expecting. And what do we do with that? At one point I considered turning around. I can turn around and go back to the highway. I know what's going back that way, and it wasn't so bad. I have no idea what lies ahead, but I'm stubborn, as you may have figured out. So, of course, I forged ahead. I did have to walk my bike up one hill because it was ridiculously steep, and there was this huge mud puddle. And so I would have had to to, like go through the mud puddle, up the hill, and I thought, this looks like something that makes me fall. So I did go ahead and walk it up that one little hill. But mental toughness, to me, forging ahead like that is what builds mental toughness. Because there are a lot of things in our lives that are just, they're not fun and they're not what we expected and they're not what we want to do or deal with. But we've got to just push forward and maybe get off our bikes and walk them through that, because we've got to get through. We've got to get, if we're going to get where we're going, even if we don't know where that is, we've got to keep moving forward, because we know what's back there behind us. No, who wants to go back? No, nobody wants to go back. We want to go forward in order to live. And that is where we are going to go in our live segment. That's right. We're going to learn how to just really make progress in going forward. Coming back from vacation, I'm sure everybody experiences this, right? It's hard to come back, especially when you go somewhere that you just really, really love. And you get home, and I know I was driving down the road and I'm thinking, why am I here? Why am I not at the beach still? I know I can't just be there every minute, but it's so hard to get your brain back in the game, right? And then all the work that you left behind, even though most of us in this day and age try to do our work from wherever we are, there's still just a few things that you didn't get to or whatever. And so that's waiting for you to deal with, and just all the stuff, the post-vacation slump. So lucky for you, I've already had, 4 days to deal with the slump, and I think I'm coming out of it. Hopefully this weekend, Roundup weekend, we've got a lot of fun and games in store here in town. We've got the parade and rodeo and dancing and live music over at Lealoo, and it's going to be a good time all weekend. So hopefully that'll get rid of the whole vacation slump. But then it's time to get back to work. So for me, I've got some real big priorities that need to be set. Between the training and my business and just life, I need to set priorities. And I really realized that when I looked at the amount of time between now and this half Ironman, I don't have time to play around right now. So how do you set priorities when there's things in your life that you're working toward? And you've got to stay focused. You've got to get this done. How do you set those priorities? How do you make yourself do it? Are you a procrastinator? Do you get super overwhelmed? Well, let's start by making a list. Okay? Making a list is a great way to set your priorities. And keep in mind, how many of them are your top priorities? Because if you have too many top priorities, you effectively have no top priorities. Think about that. Does that make sense? They can't all be the top of the hill, the top of the list. They can't all be. You've got to prioritize your priorities. How about that? That makes a lot of sense. Determine the necessary tasks over the non-necessary tasks. Yeah, I know. It's easy to put some non-necessary tasks on that list, and that way it gives you something, that active procrastination. Do you remember when we talked about that? Yeah, I'm doing something, and it's on my list, so it's good. It's not the thing at the top of the list. Yeah, so make sure you determine those necessary tasks, and then don't overwhelm yourself. If you're getting overwhelmed, stop just a minute. Take some deep breaths. Refer back to your list. Just remember that it doesn't all have to happen right this second. So you can take a moment, get your head together, don't be overwhelmed, and then be willing to compromise. Okay, when you come up against those obstacles, whether you're, out playing or whether you're working or whether you're just doing life and you come up against those obstacles, don't get discouraged and don't get bullheaded about it. Like, no, I have to do this way because that's what I decided. You might have to compromise. Sometimes those roadblocks are a way of telling us that we need to compromise just a little bit. And then assess, what are your more productive times of the day or the week? Maybe you have certain days of the week that are a lot more productive than others. I, for some reason, in my brain, and most people probably feel this way, that Sunday is a day of rest. So I'm not productive on Sundays. You can ask me to do some work and I can try, but I'm probably not going to be real productive on a Sunday. So whatever works for you, what is your best time of day, best days of the week to get done what needs to get done. And then, you're not going to like this, tackle the hardest task first. I know, it totally goes against what we want to do. We want to avoid that hard one. But how good does it feel when you tackle the hardest thing first and then you can check that off and it's done and everything else that you have coming at you is easier than what you have already done? Yeah, you can applaud yourself and move forward. And then plan ahead. Go ahead and set up tomorrow's list today so that you know what's coming at you. Set up your list and then let it go for the night. You don't have to do it right now. You're just setting up the list to plan ahead for tomorrow. Give yourself a little bit of grace and realize that we are not born knowing how to prioritize our lives. It is a learned skill. The more you do it, the better your skills. So work on prioritizing and don't beat yourself up if you make a list and then you do the list backwards the first few times. Just keep working at it and you will get better and better. And then give yourself a realistic timeline. We've got to be real with ourselves, or find an accountability partner who can be real with you. Give yourself a realistic timeline. When I made the decision to do this Ironman, I decided to do it last November. I gave myself 10 months, and I have been training toward that for now it's been 8 months of the 10. It's a realistic timeline. If I had decided to do it right now, it wouldn't be realistic. There's no way. If I hadn't been riding my bike and running for the last few months and swimming, and now I'm doing more and more swimming, but you have to create a realistic timeline for whatever it is you're trying to do, and then limit the distractions. That's hard. I know it's hard. Put your phone on silent if you need to. If you're like me, every time it beeps, I'll get distracted. Or if I can pick up my phone to look to see what time it is, and I won't look to see what time it is. I'll see a notification from Facebook or Instagram or whatever, a text, and I totally forgot that I was just picking up my phone to see what time it is. So I don't know what to tell you, but you got to limit those distractions or you'll never get it done. Earlier today, actually, I put the close sign on the office door because I needed to finish getting my show together. And I knew that I had 20 minutes. And if anybody distracted me, it wasn't going to happen. So just do what you got to do. So remember, if you don't prioritize your life, somebody else will. They're going to jump in there. Thank you so much for joining me for Eat, Play, Live from the studio in Mason, Texas. No longer from Mexico, but yeah, until next time. In September, it'll be back from Mexico again, so that'll be fun. Something to look forward to for me anyway. Anyway, please join me on Facebook or Instagram at eatplaylive.andy. You can comment, let me know how you're doing. I'm going to post a sheet that you can use for setting your priority list, and you can take that off of my Facebook page. So until then, have a fantastic weekend. If you're in the area, join us for Roundup. We're going to have such a good time. And if you see the Greater Texas Solar Float and my little Jeep pulling it, give me a wave, give me a shout out. Let me know you're listening. And until then, take care, my friends.